Yes, and welcome to yet another episode. Today being on Friday, 14th of November 2025, the last day of the week, and let's get to see what we have here. So for gold, still moving quite well, good, and just like we had anticipated key levels, I can see the price really doing great. Some good setups yesterday, and but before we look at those yesterday's setup, let's look at the daily time frame. If you look at the daily time frame, we are seeing yesterday closing as a bearish candle, right? Yesterday closing as a bearish candle. Of course, we anticipate some of these. Uh, we anticipated the day to close like that. With now the U.S. government reopening, the House of Representatives having voted. 222 votes versus 229, and the president signing the funding bill. So I believe we are expecting to see a slightly stronger dollar index, right? That's what we are looking at as a slightly um, a stronger dollar index. That's the anticipation, and the reason why we are seeing gold yesterday closing that way. But nevertheless, it was also giving us some good opportunities to be able to trade. And if you look at the 4 hour time frame, we had talked about the likelihood of the price coming to this level to retest these, because this is the breakout. So to come and retest this particular level where we have the resistant, which was resistant, now support, and also we have a breaker block which we had identified here in the 1 hour time frame, this one here, right? And we can see now the price came to retest that. But before that, we also had a trade setup here. Remember, we had marked this level, I think from the 15 minutes time frame will be, yes, this one. And the price came here during the New York session. And yeah, it gave some good number of pips, about 205 pips. So that was an opportunity for you to grab something out of there. And irrespective of that, the price also came here during the New York kill zone, I mean the London close kill zone, came and resisted this resistant, which was now confirming it to be support, and also tapping into the breaker block here. And then we start now seeing price pushing up, right? So again, these are good setup, about 538 pips. I believe you got something out of it. So what do we have today? What do we have today? So to be able to understand what we have today, so let's go back to the daily, I mean to the 4 hour time frame. This is the structure that we have here on the 4 hour time frame. All right, sorry about that. This is the structure we have here on the 4 hour time frame. And this kind of structure, what we are seeing is the price, some potentials of the price pushing on the downside. Okay, let me delete this zone so that you can see what I'm talking about. So let's see this level here. All right, so the price pushed down and taken out these liquidities here. So with those liquidities being taken out, what are we anticipating? So that now we mark these being our bullish, our bearish order block. We have seen the price tapping that bearish order block, all right? So during the New York or the Asian kill zone, okay? So that is the 4 hour order block. But now when we come into the 1 hour time frame, this is what we have. Though this is still a valid entry there, but on the 1 hour time frame, this is where we want to see the price push to. Okay, so what are we looking at again? So when you come again on this particular point, see as the price pushed up, it retraced, then took out this, created that took out those intermediate lows, and then now that means it created an OB. This particular level, it created an order block, right? And this is where we are seeing the price now react from this particular zone. Okay, so this is where we are seeing the price react on this particular point. So what am I anticipating to see here? So there are key things that I'm looking at. Number one, we might be able to see the price continue pushing up. Why? Because if you look at the 15 minutes, if you look at the 15 minutes, so what do we have here on the 15 minutes? We can minimize this one to that. So that was a perfect level like that. Okay, so meaning if someone took an entry here, that is during the Asian kill zone, then that's about almost 91 pips, which is not bad. Okay, so what I'm looking at, gold tends to respect the structure. So I'm looking at this particular level. Okay, and this level I can even go as low as 5 minutes time frame, basically to try and minimize the risk. So I'll use those two candles here to mark that, because the first one here has a wick, so I can combine two of them having a wick, no problem. That's how we draw. And the reason why I'm looking at it that way, it's because of this particular level here. So then it means we might be able to see the price push slightly on the downside. So you can see if you came on the 1 hour time, on the 5 minutes time frame, you could have minimized your risk and gotten a very nice sell from 15 minutes, from 5 minutes time frame. And right now you could be talking about 157 pips in profit. Okay, so remember, gold, I've always said I use my entries on the 15 minutes time frame or the 5 minutes time frame, because it's a bit volatile. So I'm anticipating the price at least to come to these levels, and from these levels we might see the price give us another setup. Remember, my setups, I don't swing trade. I only trade sometimes, depending on the volatility. It can end up being a scalping opportunity, because I usually target 100 pip setup with a 50 pip stop loss. But now with the volatility that we have been having of late, I've been even doing even up to 300 pips TP, because there has been a lot of volatility. So if you look at the 5 minutes time frame, the price respected this level, pushing up to fill this imbalance. We discussed about imbalances. So, and what we are seeing here now is the price also respecting this particular zone. So what will I be looking forward to? So this one now, I can minimize it to that particular point. And two scenarios. One, price coming to this level, giving us a setup, right? Giving us a setup. Okay. And what is of essence is to monitor actually the time that the price comes to this level, because right now it's past Asian kill zone, because Asian kill zones runs from 8 p.m. all the way to 12 midnight New York time. So as you can see right now is 10 or 13 minutes past midnight. All right, 13 minutes past midnight here. So that means it's not viable. If it comes to this place, for me, I'll not be engaging. Therefore, I'll be watching, because we have to start engaging in the markets at 2 a.m. London open, right? I mean 2 a.m. London kill zone. That's when we start to engage in the markets, right? So sometimes you might see the price coming in, and then we see some bit of consolidations around this particular level. We see the price consolidating around that particular point. Okay, we see price consolidating around that particular level here. Okay, I mean this particular point, and then at 2 a.m. we see the price push on the upper direction. Or probably the price can come and break below this particular point, and maybe probably at 2 a.m. comes back to retest this level, and then we'll be aligning ourselves basically in terms of buying opportunity. Allow me to delete these resistance support level there, so that now you can be able to see the price clearly. So when I look at this kind of price action now, once we see the price break below this level, we'll be looking at the market coming all the way down to this particular point. This is again another tradable zone, about 264 pips, right? 264 pips. Okay. So why am I leaning on this particular side? Not really per se, but I'm basically looking at a potential strong dollar. And let's we'll be doing the dollar index. We see how the dollar index looks like. Okay, but still, irrespective of whether a strong dollar or whether it will be a weak dollar, gold tends to respect these levels, and most of the time higher chances to respect the levels. And the reason why I'll be working now with the levels per se. Okay, so let's so we have said in case it breaks above this point, we'll be coming to this particular level, right? So let's look at DXY. So this is DXY. If you look at the daily time frame, so what we have here on the daily time frame, we are seeing slightly yesterday price pushed on the downside, then we see the price retrace, right? Then we saw the price push on the downside, retrace to close there, then we are seeing the continuation of today price becoming slightly bearish. So what are we looking at? So in case the price now pushes down and takes out yesterday's liquidity, of course that will be a continuation of the sales, and we are looking at the price coming to this particular level. Remember, this is the daily time frame. This is where the daily OB begins from, right? So we take those two consecutive candles like that. All right, all we can even do this like that because they are not far away. We use the daily candle, but when you come to the 4-hour time frame, you'll be able to see it's quite okay to use even that particular point, because that's where we have at this particular level. Okay, so because we have been anticipating the price to come all the way to this particular level that you're drawn from the 4-hour time frame. So as you look at the 4-hour chart, what you are seeing is a nice push on the downside. So today we are monitoring the price coming to this particular level here, right? This is the next level that we want to see the price take out the liquidities here. So the moment we see that being taken out, or the moment we see those liquidities being taken out, then now we'll be talking about potential once we see the liquidities being swept, a run on liquidity, then we'll be looking at a potential of the price pushing all the way down to this particular level, that is about 98.72 and 98.57. Remember, on the daily time frame, like we said, this is a pullback, because this is the level. Once it breaks this level on the daily time frame, then now we'll be confirming some bearish sentiments, right? So let me give you some tips here. Yes, we know that probably the government shutdown, the government has reopened, the US government has reopened, the president has signed the deal for the president assigned the deal for funding, but again, also remember, we are running on the sentiments of the US government entering into a recession, because we have been seeing a lot of fears. Why are people talking about the US government entering into a recession? It's because you've been able to see a very weak sector in the US. Almost every sector in the US is showing some weakness. All right, it's showing some weakness, and the reason why people are talking about some potential recession, right? Because if you look at uh, the converging global and domestic factors in the United States, they are basically projecting a recession, that is economic crash for the US, and the market tends to ride on those particular aspects, and the reason why now we're also seeing some very weak dollar index, right? So we might continue seeing some very weak dollar index, and just like I mentioned, riding on those sentiments of recession. And now looking at when we go back to gold, so in case you're going to have those kind of sentiments, therefore we might be able to see the price of gold push up. Okay, we might be able to see the price of gold push up. So you can see how the price is really pushing. Of course, coming to these 15 OB, we are seeing the price tending to push up, but I wanted it to come at least to the 5 minutes levels. All right, so but the reason why it's that way, it's also because we have an engulfing here, so we might be able to see a rejection of prices from here. Then we see the price break above this level, and the moment it breaks above this level, we'll be going to this level, and after that, now we'll be looking at the potential of prices. Now once it breaks this level, pushing higher above, coming to reclaim the 43.50, 43. Actually yesterday it reached let's see, it reached 42, 45. All right, so we might be looking at 42.50, then 4300, like that, 43.50, and then maybe probably taking out creating some other all-time highs. That is, if you're going to ride on the sentiments of a potential recession in the US government. So it's good to look at it in both sides. You have always realized when I'm analyzing the markets, I usually look at both the sides, how the market is likely to react, so that in case it doesn't go to my expectation, then I have an option B, how I can be able to counter that, right? So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I know it's on Friday. Make sure to trade cautiously. Don't be trapped in the markets today as the market closes. So make sure you trade cautiously. You remain focused, disciplined, and you always trade with purpose. So until next time, take also some time over the weekend to evaluate how your week was, and also to be able to plan for the next week, and even to analyze the pairs that you start looking at the potential entries for next week. All right, so until then, see you next week, and have a lovely weekend.